so one thing that is becoming very popular is anime, right? So I remember anime when it wasn't like the most popular thing. I know no one likes to talk about it, and I'm not even gonna spend too much time on it. It's just like, that's something that's reality for me. I lived in a time when anime wasn't popular and wasn't talked about. And you had, like, if you brought up anime, not to say that you got bullied for it, but you definitely got like looked at or like side-eyed, or it was like the whole, well, you still watch cartoons? Or like, it was just like a okay, and then called it a day. Now anime is like super mainstream, super popular. And I think honestly, anime's always been popular, but just wasn't talked about, and it wasn't as visible as, you know, it was in the past, which is fine. I have feelings, but I really don't care to talk about them right now. So we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is anime, and one in particular, Demon Slayer, also known as Kitetsu no Yaiba. Kimetsu. You know, we're just gonna like let that be, okay? We're just gonna, whatever. But yeah, we're talking about Demon Slayer today. Hey babies, it's your main baby, Brina Baby here. So we are talking about Demon Slayer. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I really don't care about, I don't watch anything. I had no plans on watching Demon Slayer. I really didn't care about watching Demon Slayer. I didn't really care about watching anything. I've just been kind of doing my own thing, and like I got a new job, so I've been like focused on that and like cleaning my room and like reconstructing everything. I've been busy, okay, too busy to like watch things. But it was my birthday, wow, like a month ago now. Sorry, time is going super fast. It was my birthday, and a friend that I haven't talked to in like about a year or two, like recently said happy birthday to me, and I was like, oh my goodness, like we haven't talked in so long, like let's hang out like ASAP, like as soon as possible. And she was like, girl, we should, let's watch a Demon Slayer movie. And she said that specifically because this friend and I, like we both loved anime, and we actually met because of a mutual friend and because of college, but also like we really connected because of our love for anime, and we even watched anime on like campus ground. It was a lot, but she was like, yeah, let's just go watch the Demon Slayer movie. And I was like, okay, yeah, perfect. That's like, I don't mind. I was just like, you know what? I just haven't watched anything. Like I haven't watched anime and I haven't watched Demon Slayer. And she's like, as long as you watch the first season, you are a-okay. And I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't realize at the time that the first season was all that came out, but that's literally my story. I binge watched it. Binge watching for me, it took me about 3 to 4 days to really finish it. That's a binge watch for me, okay? Because listen, I don't be binge watching like y'all. Okay, I can't spend a whole day on one thing. So I spent 3 to 4 days on one season. And yeah, we're just gonna talk about it. I have thoughts about it, and let's get started. So I have notes here because I wanna see if I can hit every single idea and thought that I have about it, so I don't have to come back later. I do want to say we're having spoilers, so if you haven't watched it at all, like you're gonna get a spoiler. I'm not even actively trying to spoil it, I'm just gonna talk about it, so that's why you're getting spoilers. I don't know, it might be disorganized. Even though I have notes, it's gonna be a little bit disorganized because this is very like loose notes. It's not like, you know, outlined. It's an outline. It's not like completely set up and scripted, so it's gonna be very, yeah, you know, just bleh. Okay. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is the plot of Demon Slayer. So if you don't watch Demon Slayer, or if you just need like a recap, Demon Slayer is about, well, okay, it's set in I don't even know, I can't even tell you the era of Japan that this is in, but it's set in one of the historical eras of Japan, so before technology and all that stuff. It's after the feudal period. If you know anything about world history, then you know what the feudal period is. So it's after the feudal period, but like definitely before our modern time. It's like old-timey Japan. But still in the time of trains, so that's interesting. But long story short, it's set in that time period of Japan. And basically, it's just like our human world, except there's demons in it. Of course, not in our modern era, but like, you know, a regular human world, nothing like supernatural, nothing like aliens or anything. The only difference is that there's like demons in this setting. And these demons are like, they eat humans, and each human that they eat, they get stronger and stronger. And then also like and there's like certain rules, kind of like vampires. I compare them to vampires. They probably based on traditional Japanese culture of demons, but like, because I know nothing about that, I compare them to vampires, because like they feast on blood. Vampires don't really eat humans, but you know, they basically kill humans. So like they feast on blood and eat humans. They can't be in the sunlight, so they have to be in the dark all the time. I guess that's the really only comparisons to vampires. They have to be killed a specific way. They can only be killed by sunlight or like getting their head cut off. So kind of like vampires with the stake in the heart, but you know, who really cares? Anyways, long story short, that's the rules of demons. Like they have rules in this world. And because there's demons, there's also like a organization of people called the Demon Slayers. So these are just your typical Japanese anime, and even like just in general, like action hero protagonists. So like the group that saves, or the group that fights the villains. So these Demon Slayers train, and they have like, they use swords because it's like traditional Japanese era where like sword fights and all that stuff. But they also have like, they use sword work along with like powers, if that makes sense. So like, you know how everyone basically has powers based on the elements. I don't want to call it powers because it's not like superpowers, but it's like, you know, if you've watched an anime, you know what I mean. Like you just have your like specific realm of power that you use. So like someone uses water, someone uses flame, but they like incorporate that in their swords work. And they only have those powers because they train really hard. It's not like they wake up and they're just like, yes, I have the power of flame. You like specifically train in that area, and you develop those powers. Okay. Did I miss anything? Okay, that's the general overarching story, kind of like the general background, like setting of the story. But the story plot is actually about this main character named Tanjiro, and he basically lives in the mountains with his family of a mother and 5 siblings. So there's 6 kids in total and 1 mom. And Tanjiro is the oldest boy and like the oldest son, the oldest kid in general, and also like the main character. They live in the mountains. I don't know specifically what their family does, but I know Tanjiro like sells charcoal to like burning charcoal like for fireplaces and like keep things warm. So one day he goes down in the mountain, like down the mountains into the actual village to go sell his charcoal, leaving his family alone, which is like typical. It's not like anything different, except when he comes, no, he doesn't even come back. He comes back, sleeps over at an inn of like a neighbor's because it's super late. And when he goes the next day to like go see his family, slaughtered. They're dead in blood. Some of them together, some of them apart, but like the whole family is dead. I'm talking sister, brother, mom, except for his other sister, his like the oldest girl of the family, but like his younger sister, Nezuko, who's alive, but had her blood mixed with a demon's blood, which causes her to become a demon as well. Cause like in their thing, it's kind of, again, it's like vampires. If you don't die, but your blood mixes with the demon's blood, you become a demon. So, blah, 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 a whole bunch of other stuff happens, 26 episodes worth of stuff and content. But in general, the whole story is about Tanjiro, number one, trying to turn his sister back into a human. So he obviously doesn't want her to stay a demon. So him trying to figure out a way to like, hey, how can I turn Nezuko into a demon? And also trying to get revenge. It's like revenge, but also just like in general, trying to stop the demon who not only killed his family, but turns out to be like the ruler of all demons and like the reason that demons exist, because he's like the original demon who like turned demons into demons, if that makes sense. So he's really the root cause of all the demons. And then he also killed Tanjiro's family himself. So 2 goals for our hero. Okay, that's the plot. In general, I really like the plot. I think it's typical of like shonen protagonists. Like, okay, you have your character and you have like the villain and you have like a clear cut, like, boom, this is, you know, like this is the conflict and this is why the hero wants to defeat the villain in the first place. I really do like how, okay, so what happens in a lot of shonen anime is like, and I know I said I didn't like anime, but like, here's the thing. What happens in a lot of shonen anime is like, you have the main character and they usually have like an internal conflict, or they have multiple arcs where you meet like different, they have different conflicts, like external conflicts, but you don't meet like the big bad villain until like maybe midway through the story or like really distantly. And what I like about Demon Slayer is that like straight up, they're just like, listen, here's your big bad villain and there's that conflict. And yes, like we're not gonna focus on that, but like straight up, like literally first, second, third, like beginning episodes, just like, listen, your big bad villain, okay? You didn't have to go through other villains to get it to this one. Like, this is who we are fighting. This is who we are going after. This is where the story's gonna end. Like, as soon as this guy's gone, you guys know the story is done, typically. If that makes any sense. I hope that made sense. I mean, it might just make sense in my brain. But, you know, we learn who the villain is. The main villain, automatically. And of course, like, we don't really see him ever again. We kind of just hear of him. But, like, that was really cool. Tanjiro has two main, like, goals: to turn his sister back into a human, and then also to, like, you know, defeat this big bad villain, Muzan. I'm gonna call him Muzan. I might be saying it wrong. But, like, yeah, overall the plot is pretty solid. It's a solid plot. I mean, like, it's a good plot. It's a good idea. It makes sense as to why everything's happening, why things are the way they are, and why the story is important in the first place. So, A+. Okay, now we're gonna go into character. Actually, I'm gonna save characters for last because characters are gonna be like super heavy, and I can already tell it's gonna be a long video. So we will come back to characters. Next one is setting. I kind of already told you guys about the setting. I really do like how it's like traditional Japan. I keep saying traditional Japan. I just know that that's not like traditional Japan. I just mean like it's like pre-modern era Japan. I like how it's like still our on I like how it's still on our Earth. It's just like Japan plus demons. At least that's how I see it. I might be wrong, but that's how I see it. It's like Japan, like this era of Japan that happened in real life, plus there's demons and demon slayers and like all this other stuff. I'm talking crows and all this stuff. I think that puts like it makes it easier to relate to. Obviously, we're in modern day, and like for me at least, I'm in modern day America, so like obviously there's not a lot I can relate to, but at least it's not like, oh, these people are from a whole different planet and I have to like figure out the world, like how the world works in that particular setting, if that makes sense. So it's not like, oh, we're like on a different planet, so let's figure out how the world works. Or, oh, we're underwater, so let's figure out. No, it's like, you can figure out how the world works just plus demons. Does that make sense? So it's like easier to relate to and like to make sense of it in a shorter amount of time. A+. The next thing we're going to talk about is music and soundtrack. Can I just tell you that like automatically music and soundtrack in this anime is like A+. The music and soundtrack in Demon Slayer is so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. The soundtrack is so good. I just like, I can't tell you. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. A+++++. Like the way the music and the soundtrack works with every scene and fight scenes and emotional scenes, and it really adds to it. It doesn't take away from it. It doesn't distract from it. It really just adds to the plot, you know, and it adds to what's going on. And that's how a lot of animes are. But like in particular, this one really hit home. The only other comparison I have is like Attack on Titan. I think Attack on Titan is probably like one of the best soundtracks for like an anime, like for scenes and like emotional scenes and like really like, you know, supplementing the scene so you feel emotion, but you're also like loving the songs. And if I could find a Demon Slayer soundtrack, I would listen to it. But like, yeah, that's my comparison. Like if, like I hold the Attack on Titan soundtrack to such a high like degree, and like the score for Attack on Titan to such a high degree, because like it really does add on to the scenes. And so to compare Demon Slayer to that is just like, that's how you know like Demon Slayer soundtrack and score and theme music is just like top tier. It's just top tier. It's just so good. It's so good. Again, I'm trying to find that freaking soundtrack, so please help me. In terms of theme songs, so theme song, like the opening and like the ending. First of all, Lisa has all of our wigs in her hand. Okay, like this girl has been singing so many like freaking anime like openings and endings. Like she has our wigs in her hand. She's holding tight. Okay, she said, listen, I'm a big one in the industry. You know, the ones that you always kind of see over and over again. It's like, y'all really got your foot on our necks. Like y'all really got your hand like on our wigs. Like y'all really just be making these theme songs and these openings and these endings that just like, thank you. Like, thank you. So Lisa just be like, I mean, did we expect anything else from the opening? No. The ending, not gonna lie, I kind of skipped that. Like, okay, so I watched Demon Slayer on Hulu. So what would happen is that I would watch the opening because like I would cast it on the TV, so I couldn't really skip it. There wasn't an option to skip it. But the ending, like you could just skip to the next episode. So Not gonna lie, I didn't really listen to the ending, so I can't have no opinions of it. Sorry. Episode composition. So episode composition is just basically like how the episodes were within the season. It's interesting. Okay, I do want to say like straight up, and like maybe I should say this in the beginning of the video too, but like when I say I haven't watched anime in so long, like I literally have not watched anime in about 3 years. So there's like a big bunch of space where it's like while I was watching Demon Slayer, I wasn't sure if I was noticing things because like maybe now the ways that animes, like, you know, maybe now that the way that animes are made now is like different than like how it was before, or if it's just like it's the same thing, but like because there's like such a big amount of like a big gap of time since the last time I watched something that was like anime style or like shonen style, it's like I'm noticing it like hyper focused on it in Demon Slayer. Or maybe just because I'm older, you know, like sometimes when you're younger, you don't like notice things that like happen, like bad or good. You don't notice certain themes or like certain like tropes in things until you watch it again when you're older and like you have more knowledge of like, you know, like shows and stuff like that. So maybe also it could just be like I'm older and like so I'm more hyper focused. But that's just like a little disclaimer for like the things I'm gonna say later on. But the episode composition of Demon Slayer is just a little bit weird, a little bit tricky. So basically, it's like every 2 to 3 episodes would be a different story. Characters stay the same, of course. There was a lot of like time jumps within like episodes. Like in one episode, we literally jumped like 2 years, and I was just like, well, what's going on here? So it's not like the whole story like completely shifted, but it'd be like there's different villains for every. It's like you're playing a video game and you're like beating each level every 2 episodes. So like by episode 2, you just beat a level, and so you're gonna like meet a new bad guy, and then by episode 4 you're gonna beat the level and you meet a new bad guy, and then by episode 7 you meet the level until you meet another bad guy. You know what I mean? So it's like you literally just have different villains throughout the thing, but like I don't know, it sometimes felt like a different story to me. Like each one was like a different thing, with a like obvious like continuation of the main story, but like I don't know, it just felt weird to me and different. You know what, I think I'm just so used to having like within one season you just have one big arc. So like within the arc you have like 1 or 2 like big villains and you have to beat those, and then you hit the other arc, which is another like season basically. But it seemed like we had just like mini arcs within the 26 episodes, which is like, it's not bad, it's just different. So that's just something I noticed. Okay, we're gonna go to fight and cinematography. This is another one where it's like, I don't know if it's me just noticing things now because of the gap. I don't know if it's me noticing things now because I'm older and like I'm paying more attention, or if it's just literally how things have always been. But to me, the Demon Slayer choreography for fights is not that good. It's just not good. I'm sorry, like it's not. I'm used to like, first of all, I love shonen. Well, I can't say I love it because like people are gonna be mean to me. But like most of the anime I watched back when I watched it was shonen anime. I'm talking Naruto, of course. Naruto, okay. I'm talking Bleach, I'm talking Parasite, I'm talking Attack on Titan. Like, you know, like just action shonen. Oh, I'm talking Tokyo Ghoul, like Dragon Ball Z, like hello. One Punch Man, like hello, season 1. One Punch Man season freaking 1. Okay, where like along with story and character and like plot, one of the big focus, because it is action and because it is shonen, is the fights. And not just the fights, but like when it comes to like going from a manga to an anime, the best part is that you have like the opportunity to like really choreograph the fights to make it epic and make it big and make it amazing. And so like you could have like a small fight where it's just like, but the choreography and the animation is just so good in the fight. And you're just like, oh my goodness, like this is the best fight ever. You just hype it up. Like we all remember the freaking fights from the Chunin exams in Naruto. Like we all remember One Punch Man's freaking final battle. Sorry, I love One Punch Man so much. We all remember One Punch Man's final battle. We all remember freaking in Bleach, just opening number 2, D-Techno Life. That choreography in just the opening, like we all remember that. So it's kind of hard to like go from those anime. Attack on Titan, but baby, just pick a scene. Just pick a scene. We all remember Kaneki's last fight with was his name Jason, like the one who tortured him. I'm just, as you know, like my memory is just like, it's like going through all the action fights. But it's just like, we all remember these fights, and we remember it because of the animation, because of the choreography, and because of the time spent on each thing, right? Little things, right? And so for Demon Slayer, as much as I do love Demon Slayer, spoiler alert, I do love it. It's like a love-hate relationship. I'll talk more about that later. As much as I do really like Demon Slayer, the choreography of the fight scenes is like leaves a lot to be desired. Like for real, it's not impressive. Like I think the fights literally don't even last more than like a minute or two. Like the choreography on the fights are just, I'm sorry, the choreography and the animation is just so lazy on the fights. It's literally like maybe like a minute or two of struggle, and then like within the last few minutes, it'll be like the person just says like, unlocking first form, this one, flamethrower or whatever, and then they'll like do the form, and then they'll kill the demon, and it'll be over. I'm just like, bro, where's my punches? Like, okay, this is sword fighting, so I guess there's not gonna be like punches or anything, but where's my flips and my swipes and my like jumping on the walls and like going back and forth? You know what I mean? That being said, there are some really cool powers in Demon Slayer, like really cool, just like thoughts about like people, like demons' powers, and even just like the Demon Slayers themselves, like their powers within the fights are really cool. There was one fight, I'm sorry if you hear that freaking car, let's just stop for a second while they have their 5 seconds of attention. All right, thank you, buddy. Drive safe, man. Okay. Even if the sky is falling, even when I knock down. Okay, anyway, so there's like one particular fight I'm thinking about where it's there was this a demon with like eyes on his hands, and like using the eyes on his hands, like he would put arrows in the sky, like not the sky, but arrows basically in real life. And then like the arrows would like cause you to go a different direction. So like if the arrow was pointing up, it would hit you and you would go up with the arrow. And that was like so cool. And like the choreography of that was like super cool. I'm trying to think of other demons and their powers. There was one demon with like a drum thing, so it would like change the room each time. There wasn't really a lot of opportunities for choreography with that one, but like it was really cool. And he would just like be changing it, and like, you know, the characters would be like going through different rooms, or like the room would like flip around and stuff like that. That stuff is really cool. So I don't want to like take away from that, like number one, like the powers within the actual anime, and then also like, you know, how the animation kind of work with those powers. But what I'm talking about is just like in general, when it comes to most of the fights in Demon Slayer, it's just like, I wish there was more. Like I wish they were more epic. I wish they were more animated. I wish they were longer. And yeah, that's honestly one of my biggest complaints about the show. It's just like, I wish there was more in the fights. Since we are on the topic of things like I don't really like about Demon Slayer, can we talk about how I feel like there's like a word for this trope? I can't think of it now. I will put it on the side. I wish I could think of it so I could like just say it. But there's like a trope where when characters are in a struggle, or like like things just don't look good. Like things don't look like they're gonna like end up good at all. You're like, you the audience and the actual characters within the show are just like, well, we're dead because there's no way we're getting out of this. And then out of nowhere, they pull out something that's like, oh, I forgot I had this magic cupcake that if I eat it, I can make 3 wishes, and that's gonna help us get out of this tomb of lava that we're stuck in. And it's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then you as a watcher, you're just like, what? Like y'all didn't want to like bring up this magic cupcake in the beginning or the middle. Like you wanted to wait till like the very last minute when there's like a whole bunch of suspense and it's just like unrealistic. Okay, so I feel like Demon Slayer does that so much. It's 2 things for me, at least. For me, number one, they do that a lot. And number 2, the way that they do it is that they do a lot of like telling and not showing, which is funny because it's literally like anime, like it's an animation, it's supposed to be showing you things. But I don't know, I don't know if these are 2 different problems or like the same problem. I feel like they're kind of like, they go hand in hand, but like they over-explain so much in Demon Slayer. And like, I mean, I guess it's fair because like, we don't really know, like we don't live in this world. So like they kind of have to over-explain, but I feel like there's just so much like talk of the characters and like over like the narration and all that stuff. And I'm just like, bro, like show me, show me what's going on. But like along with that, it's like a lot of like, I wish I could remember what the trope is, but a lot of like that whole where it's like, oh my gosh, I forgot that we had this, or thank God that we have this. So one example of that is like, that like is just coming off the top of my head, is a Netsu, which is like one of the characters in Demon Slayer. He fights like a spider guy, and basically a spider bites him, and he like gets injected with venom, and that venom is going to turn him, it's venom or poison, I don't really care, but it's going to turn him into a spider. So the Netsu is like slowly turning into a spider, and blah 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 blah. And then there's a Demon Slayer who comes in, and like her specialty is like basically making poison. So along with making poison, she can also like make antidotes for the poison. So she's just like, thank God I was able to have this antidote for this poison. Shoot. And I'm just like, girl, when did you make this antidote? When? How? Why? Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but like, even if that example doesn't work, maybe if I wasn't paying attention and like they explain how she made the antidote, there are still a whole bunch of other examples of like things just like ending up working out because hey, I don't know, because I'm just like, no, you know, again, it might be because I'm older, but I'm just noticing now, but like, I'm just like, bro, like, how? Or not really how, because you're explaining to me how, but like, you couldn't give me just a little bit of a hint that was gonna happen. Y'all just did it at the very last minute. Okay, I guess so, whatever. It's just like, I wish I could think of more examples for you. And it's like moments like this where I kind of wish I wasn't binging it and like I had gone one by one, so I could like really write down each note and be like, hey, this doesn't really make sense, this doesn't really make sense, it doesn't really make sense. One thing that really bothered me was like, and I hate to like keep ragging on it because I do like Demon Slayer a lot, but like one thing that doesn't make sense, it's like I felt like Tanjiro, the main character, like got his skill and got his power so quickly. And like they did take the time to like be like, hey, he trained in like 2 years, which is another thing. Can we pause on that little "let's so quickly" thing? First of all, literally the second episode or third episode, they're like, yeah, I was training for like within 2 years, like, well, no, before I knew it, 2 years had passed of my training. What? I need to see that training, because back to, I feel like you gained your power too quickly and you're winning these battles out of nowhere. How are you winning these battles? And now I'm thinking that maybe it is because I'm older and because I haven't watched anime, because that really is just like a normal trope in anime where it's just like, and not just anime, literally any like action thing where it's just like the rookie ends up winning most of his battles even though it doesn't seem like he should. So I'm gonna let it pass for now. Okay, I'm just being so picky and harsh on it because it is one of my first animes after such a long time. So like I'm really just hyper focused on everything. But like, y'all got one more season, okay, before I really start calling it out again. Yeah, overall, I think those are the main things. That's not my general thoughts on the show yet, because I still need to go over characters, but those are like the main things I was thinking about when it came to like complaints. Now we're gonna go into characters finally, and I'm literally just gonna run through the characters. I didn't write down every single character, which is actually probably a mistake on my part, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Tanjiro is my baby. He's the main character and I love him. There's not many times where the main character of an anime is my favorite character at the same time, but this is one of the times when the main character of an anime is my favorite character. There's this really good line when he's talking to, how do you say it? Kaneo, I think that's how you say it, Kaneo. This is a girl who we're gonna talk about later. But basically, for her, like, she doesn't speak, or she doesn't make decisions without like flipping a coin. Like if she can't make a decision, she'll flip a coin, and then she'll let the coin make the decision for her. So Tanjiro's just like, you know what? No, you have to follow your heart. And so if this like coin flips to heads, like you're following your heart. And like luckily it flipped to heads. But Kaneo's like, oh my gosh, like how'd you know it was gonna flip the heads? Like that, how'd you make that happen? And he was like, oh, we were just lucky. But honestly, if it hadn't gone to heads, like I would have just kept flipping it until it did. And I feel like that's just such a good example of like his character and like his determination and like how he's determined to do the right thing. And, you know, he's not about to give up just because it doesn't go his way once or twice. Like, he's willing to keep going. Typical shonen main character stuff. Anime protagonists come in, like, different shades and flavors. And I really like Tanjiro's, like, I'm really sweet and kind-hearted and polite one. Without being, like, shy or weak or anything. He's a very strong character. Okay, I can go on and on about him. I love him a lot. Okay, Nezuko, let me tell you something. Nezuko is the demon, is Tanjiro's sister, the second survivor of like the massacre of his family, and the one who became a demon like I was talking about in the beginning. Let me tell you something. Nezuko is that girl. She is that girl. Nezuko is that girl. Nezuko be, let me just tell you, first of all, number one, she survived the demon attack, okay? Number two, she became a demon and yet she has not tasted a drop of human blood. Number three, she was ready to go on site for anyone who tried to harm her brother. And not only that, but she be fighting. She fights. She's not just like the demon in the background. I was kind of, I don't know why, but like when the first and second episode had happened, I thought she was just gonna be like the cute little side character who's just a demon and like has to be hidden away. But no, she like pulls her weight on the team too, okay? She be fighting. Tanjiro would be dead at least twice over if it wasn't for her just popping out that box and being like, and like knocking some people out. She's a baddie. She's amazing. I literally love Nezuko so much. She's like such a good character, which is like saying something because like she's not really a character still, even though like, you know, I just said all this stuff about her. She's not really herself, if that makes sense, because she is a demon and she can't even talk. And you know, she's just doing things in a whole different perspective. So we don't really know who the real Nezuko is, but the Nezuko that we know right now is a baddie. She's just bad. She's a bad bee. She's that girl. She is the moment. And there's nothing else to say. I will let Nezuko's actions speak for themselves. Like honestly, that is a character. Next character is the netsu. So netsu needs to learn to shut up. To just shut up. The netsu is like, listen, I don't hate any character. I'm making sure I don't. Okay, I'm making sure this is a true statement. For the most part, I don't hate any character in Demon Slayer. So like, I'm just know I'm just coming out of like love. Zenitsu needs to shut up. Zenitsu makes it so hard to like him because he can't stop freaking talking and being scared all the damn time. But like legitimately, like Zenitsu needs to shut up. If you don't know who Zenitsu is, he's basically a supporting character. He's one of the major supporting characters. By the end of the anime, like him, another character who I'm going to talk about, and then Nezuko and Tanjiro are like the four. Like, you know, like how everyone in a show has like their little squads, like they're part of the squad. So he's part of the squad. And like his thing is like being scared all the time. Like he's part of the Demon Slayer. Like he's one of the new Demon Slayers, just like Tanjiro and just like what the other guy I'm going to talk about. But like he's the one who's like super duper scared all the time. So like literally they'll be like, hey, you need to go on a mission. He'll be like, no, don't make me go on this mission. I can't do it. I need to get married. No. And I'm just like, bro, like shut up. He has the potential. He has the power. Honestly, he has common sense too. So like everything should be pointing to yes. And yet he makes it a no. Zenitsu just needs help. He needs mental help. He's obviously the comic relief character, along with a lot of, everyone's technically a comic relief character in Demon Slayer. But like Zenitsu, I think, is like one of the main comic relief characters. And like, you know, at some point it's just like, this isn't comedy anymore. You need to do your job. Like, do your job, sir. Like you have it, do your job, sir. Okay. Inosuke, I don't really, sorry. First of all, I thought he was a grown man. Okay, he's the one who has like if you've ever seen like art of Demon Slayer, like you've probably seen like the character with the boar's head and like a really muscular body. And so like that's Inosuke. And I really thought this man was like a grown ass man. I really thought this man was like grown. I thought he was gonna be like the big brother sensei character for like our younger characters, because Tanjiro at this point I think is like 14, and I think Zenitsu is also the same age, like 14, 15. So I thought like Inosuke was gonna be like the 19 or the like 18, 19, 20-year-old who like is part of the squad, but like as like the mentor, like the big brother type. I think this man's the same age. I really need to check it, but like the way he talks and the way he acts, he's the same age, but that body don't look 14. And please don't take this out of context in the video. Okay, I know that's like a very sus comment. That body don't look 14, but that body don't look 14. So like something's not adding up. That body don't look 14. Okay. Inosuke is kind of the cocky, overconfident ones, but like he's also really stupid. So like literally like take a brain out and just make it fighting and winning and competition, and that's Inosuke. Like that's literally all that goes on in his brain. Like competition, fighting, being the best, being number one, fighting, competition, hurting other people. He stepped on a little girl, y'all. He stepped on a little girl so that he can continue his fight. That, man, like, he literally does not listen. He has developed since his first appearance, which I love, because some people, the netsu, don't develop, it seems, and it seems like they stay the same, but Inosuke has developed, because, like, Inosuke's whole thing is that he also grew up on a mountain just like Tanjiro did, but, like, from what I can gather, instead of being surrounded by families, he literally grew up with, like, wild animals. So, like, whereas, like, Tanjiro grew up in the mountains, but he, like, had a family around him, so he's, like, kind of like a farm, like, not farm boy, but, like, he's like a simple country folk. Inosuke is like a country folk in the sense of, like, he was raised by wild animals. So he's literally, like, I think they call him, like, the beast man, or, like, the man among beasts, or something like that. Like, he didn't have no family. He doesn't have any interactions. So he just literally acts like a wild animal. So, like, literally, when I say fighting, eating, competition, not listening to anybody, fighting, eating, competition, not listening, like, that's literally all that goes on in his brain. But he is slowly and surely getting better and, like, becoming friends with people and all that stuff. So that's really cool. I have a soft spot for Inosuke, I really do. I also like the joke about how his face is, like, super, super girly and, like, super, like, feminine. And he has, like, long lashes and, like, green eyes. And I love that. That's so funny. So funny. But yeah, we need to, like, fact check that age, because it's not adding up. Now, before I say my overall thoughts on the show, there is something I just remembered that I wanted to talk about. So one thing I want to say about Demon Slayer is that, like, Demon Slayer really tricks you, okay? When I think of a really brutal anime, like, I feel like an anime that everyone kind of goes, like, jumps to when they want to talk about, like, an anime that's brutal is Attack on Titan. Because Attack on Titan, like, gave you the Game of Thrones treatment. Like, if you know what I mean. Like, you meet a character, and the next episode they dead. Like, they're getting eaten. Like, there's, like, no one is a favorite, is what I'm trying to say. Like, no one's a favorite. Everyone's gonna get eaten and die. So, when we think of, like, okay, what's the most brutal anime? Like, maybe, obviously, everyone has their own opinion. But, like, it's like an easy answer, because it's, like, literally people just be dying. And, like, in every anime, especially shonen, like, people just be dying. But there's something about Demon Slayer, for me, that's just so different. Like, because people really be dying. You know what I mean? Like, people literally be dying in Demon Slayer. And I'm just like, bro, this is a brutal anime. Like, it doesn't seem like it, because there's so much comic relief. There's so much going on. So, like, that distracts you, that, like, how, I keep saying brutal, but how brutal the anime is. But, like, when you really stop to think about, like, how many people die every episode, and not only that, but how many people who die, like, whose story you actually get to hear about and, like, read about and see and experience, you're just like, wow, this death count is high in this anime. Like, it's high over here. Like, I hope what I'm saying makes sense to other people, because, like I hope it makes sense. Because in other shonen anime, at least, like, the ones I used to watch, like, people would die, but, like, they wouldn't actually, like, they wouldn't die. Like, people would die, you'd be like, oh, so-and-so died. All right, moving on. In Demon Slayer, it's like, so-and-so died, but also, did you know that they had this kind of life and they lived this lifestyle and, like, blah, blah, blah. And also, this is how they died. They, like, got their arms ripped off. And that's, like, every episode. Every single episode. Demon Slayer is a brutal anime. Okay, it is. It is. I'm sorry. It is. It is. Like, we want to just think of it like, oh, it's just, like, a cute little shonen anime for, like, kids and stuff like that, but, like, also for adults, of course, but, like, it's just cute. No, Tanjiro's whole family got, like, murdered. There's another death that really, like, hit me, like, within the show, not the movie. People just be dying, like, people just be dying. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Anyways, last but not least is general thoughts about the anime. I like Demon Slayer, I really do. Honestly, I like, when I talk about it, it's what I say is, like, it's a love-hate relationship. Like, I love it, but I also kind of hate it because of the things, like I said, like, it's a good anime, but sometimes I just want to, like, shake it by its shoulders and be like, why are you the way that you are? But overall, I really do like it. I mean, I don't regret binging it, and there's not really much else to talk about. I talked about everything I really wanted to talk about, but overall, I really like it. I know there's, like, a debate as to, like, whether it should be as popular as it is. I don't really care about the debate, but I'm telling you right now, I did like it. I don't think it's, like, the best thing ever. I really don't. There are animes where you watch them and you're just like, everyone needs to watch this. I don't think everyone needs to watch Demon Slayer, but like I'm very happy that I watched it, and I'm looking forward to season 2. Or technically, yeah, it would still be season 2, even though we got season 2 in a movie, but like it would still be season 2. So I'm looking forward to it. I thought I was gonna make like a little bit of a half on the movie, like, you know, talk about the movie a little bit, but like I'm literally like hitting 1 hour on this video itself. So I'm gonna stop here. In terms of the movie, just real quick, I love that movie, and also I'm very mad about how things turned out, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but let me just tell you, I'm very mad about how things turned out. I guess that is kind of a spoiler. I'm sorry, y'all. But like, if you know, you know, and if you don't, you need to watch that movie and find out. Yes, I think I might make another video about the movie. I might not. It really depends. I need to think about everything. That movie left me just thinking. I was thinking all right. But yeah. That is it for this video. If you like the video, like the video. If you like me, subscribe. If you want to talk to me, of course, just leave a comment down below. Send me a message on Instagram, which will all be in the description down below. And that's really it. I'll try to put my email in there too, but I'm not really big on social media. I'm not gonna lie to you. Other than that, thank you so much for watching this video. It really means a lot to me. You guys should watch Demon Slayer, and if you have, tell me about it and how you like it, and if you agree or disagree with my opinions on Demon Slayer. Until next time, babies. XOXO. Bye.